Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Hey, I get to work with my wife every day. I mean, how could it get any better? I know how it could
It
get
could
better.
probably get better.
It could get better if we could call your dad and talk to him.
That would be great.
Why
It's
don't we do that?
Tuesday.
Yeah,
We
it's
can
Tuesday.
do that today.
Every Tuesday, we call and talk to Heidi's dad. So for those of you who love Tuesdays with Charlie, it's her idea. For those of you who hate Tuesdays with Charlie, well, it's still her idea. There's research in Self Magazine about what's really throwing your diet off track. The first thing that's messing it up is your weekend. Most people eat less calories during the day and more calories on the weekends, and that adds up to an additional 5 pounds a year. Coming up, we're going to talk about what special things are happening today. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Tuesday, September the 13th. Today is Kids Take Over the Kitchen Day.
Okay.
I think our daughter does that every afternoon after school.
Yeah, they kind of, yeah.
It's also National Celiac Awareness Day today. It is National Peanut Day today. It is Scooby-Doo Day today.
I loved Scooby-Doo.
I did too. How could you not? It was
That
just
was
such
the
a great
greatest show.
It is National Pet Memorial Day today, and it's Roald Dahl Day. He's the guy that came up with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and others. Our son is a huge fan of Roald Dahl. So
Yes, he is.
He's and here's a cool thing. He's a fan of the books. Our son is a reader, and he read the books, and then afterwards saw the movies. He's like, I don't know, I kind of like the books better.
Yeah.
But the movies were okay. That first one was with Gene Wilder, but that second one was just weird. So
Yeah.
that was weird.
It was
Johnny
weird.
Depp. I was
Even
like,
the
what
first one was weird. I never liked Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, honestly.
come
I
on,
thought
it was
that was
good.
the weirdest movie.
It was bizarre. Coming up, we've got some very bizarre stuff we're going to be talking about. We've got Red Bull in the news. We're going to talk about energy drinks for our Heard It on the Radio segment on the way in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business if it's done right. You can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. You've probably seen the ads for energy drinks like Red Bull. There's the one, Red Bull gives you wings, whatever. That's because Red Bull is basically a big can of caffeine. Well, now in Darwin, England, a 17-year-old boy who robbed a supermarket of $17,000 at knife point says it's because he drank too much Red Bull and went crazy. He claims he had, listen to this, 11 cans of Red Bull, which doctors told the court is more than twice the caffeine needed to cause a, quote, significant toxic effect, end quote, and could possibly create a blurring between fantasy and reality. His lawyers say since committing the crime, he no longer drinks Red Bull and hasn't had any caffeine for that matter. Justice Stephen Bailey said the caffeine intoxication might explain but does not excuse the crime. The boy pled guilty. Judge Bailey gave him a 4-year suspended jail sentence. Does that mean that you're going to jail for 4 years, but we're not going to make you go to jail? Isn't that what that means?
I don't know.
That
I
is
guess
kind
it
of a
means
weird-
suspended because if he breaks the law again, then it's added on
is that
to
what
his.
happens?
I think so.
Oh, I see. See, I never understood all that stuff. Well, energy drinks.
I don't know for sure either, but I would assume that's what that means. If they're not going to make him go to jail now, but if he breaks the law again, hey, don't forget about that 4 years we gave you before. Is the way
Oh.
that's what I would do if I was
see.
a judge.
Well, you heard it from Judge Heidi. I'm not a real judge. I just pretend to be one on the radio. Hey, there's another story I'm going to just attach right to this because it says energy drinks are understudied, overused, and can be dangerous for children and teens, according to a report by doctors who say kids shouldn't use the popular products.
Agreed.
The potential harms caused mostly by too much caffeine or similar ingredients include heart palpitations, seizures, strokes, and even sudden death. The authors write this in a medical journal of pediatrics. Now, we know a person who was only in his 30s, and he drank an energy drink every day, and he died in his 30s. So I'm not an energy drink person, and I'm not saying
and
that's
I don't
what...
let our daughter drink them, but every time she goes to the store with you,
No.
she comes home with an
Not
energy drink.
every
I'm like,
time.
what are you doing
No,
buying these things
not
for
every
her?
time. But there are times that she's like, come on, I just want one. I'm like, okay, you can have one. That's fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who's the parent?
Okay. Wait, I think I know the answer. Is it me?
Yes.
Okay.
That's when you say, no,
Okay.
you cannot have that.
Teach me how to say that word. I can use that for a lot of things.
You really could.
I could
Yeah.
use that. All right. This has been your what are we talking about here? Oh, I know. You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. See, I'm confused. I need an energy drink.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. A study from Australia has found that turning off the television and picking up the crossword puzzle and eating more fish could be the key to a better memory. The study also found people who read fiction are better with memories than those who don't, and heavy drinkers find it more difficult to recall names. I had to look at Heidi for that because all the time she's going, how do I know that? Can't think of his name. She sips her wine.
That's actually really funny.
Do you find that humorous? I find that quite humorous.
I don't remember anybody's name ever.
It's kind of become a running gag with us.
Well, now we know why.
Yeah, one other thing I'll throw in here. Between 2002 and 2013, the number of people who consume marijuana daily has risen dramatically.
Yeah,
So over
that has nothing to
11-year
do with
period.
me at all.
Nothing to do with you. But
No
it was,
interest.
I thought I'd throw that tidbit in because this is your brain on drugs.
John and Heidi.
At this time each day, we like to do a little thing called Your Moment of Duh. And I thought this one was actually so funny. It wasn't originally going to be here, but I thought this is the perfect place for it. During the Cold War, the British and Americans were working together to build what was thought to be the longest tunnel ever constructed for purposes of spying. They began in West Berlin, and they dug 1,476 feet into East Berlin, intending to tap into underground cables being used by communists to send messages. What the intelligence agencies of both countries have suppressed to this day is a very embarrassing fact that when a test hole was dug to the surface, what they saw was not Berlin. They saw the Eiffel Tower. They went the wrong way and were in France.
Wow.
I think that's really funny. So a 1,476-foot tunnel that went the wrong way, that's like a quarter of a mile. Went the wrong way. They went into France instead of into East Berlin. So there you go. That's your moment of duh.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. Now, there are some people out there that have never even heard these names before. Kendall and Kylie Jenner. If you're not into the whole famous just for being
I've
famous
heard the
stuff,
names, but I really don't know.
well, this
much
is the
about
reason
those
that I'm
two.
bringing it up, because they were stuck in a New York elevator for quite some time. The story has a happy ending. They were released. Or in some cases, people might say that was not the happy ending. But either way, I just thought that was really weird. They got stuck in an elevator in New York. A raccoon ate my homework. How do you think that excuse would fly at school? Think that would work?
I don't know. It depends.
It happened to a 13-year-old girl. She had to tell her Florida music teacher that a raccoon was to blame for missing homework. She explained the raccoon fell from the ceiling in her bathroom and ran into her
Ew.
bedroom. Animal control had to come and get the raccoon. When they couldn't catch it, they said, "We can't let you in that room." The girl's grandmother vouched for her story, telling school officials she could not get to her homework or her books because the raccoon was in there. They eventually did catch the raccoon, by the way. This is such a cool idea that I cannot believe it didn't happen sooner, Heidi.
What's that?
This last Thursday, so not quite a week ago, students at Xavier University in Cincinnati needing pizza at any time of the day or night could start turning to Pizza ATM, open 24/7. Pizza ATM is a machine that dispenses fresh pizza to hungry students within 3 minutes of ordering. A 12-inch pizza is $9 or $10, depending on which toppings you choose. This vending machine holds 70 pizzas at a time. It's located in the Xavier Fenwick Place Residence Hall, just outside the school's main dining facility. That closes each night at 8 o'clock, so the Pizza ATM was the brainchild of a French company. They said, hey, maybe we could start selling fresh pizzas all night long. I think that's a cool idea. So I don't know how they do it, but I'd like to at least think that it hopefully tastes good, too. But I just think that's a cool idea. Hey, over the weekend, $35 million was made by the movie Sully. It landed to a nice opening weekend. Audiences turned out in droves. Clint Eastwood is the director. Tom Hanks, of course, the main star of the dramatization of The Miracle on the Hudson. $35.5 million, surpassing expectations by around $10 million. So they did $10 million better than they thought they would. Meanwhile, Ghostbusters still hasn't made that much money. You're like, one of these days, people are going to come out and see this. We're actually going to go to Sully. We've got a listener we're going with tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. That's going to be fun. Ramen noodles are becoming increasingly more valuable in prison. They no longer trade tobacco products. Instead, they trade what they refer to as soups, but it's ramen noodles, and they're extremely popular as the currency behind bars.
Really?
Yeah, I'll trade you 2 soups for that. According to a report by NetPop Research, women and young people are the most active users of social media today. Women in their 30s make up more than half of the heavy contributors as they engage in 6 or more social media activities each day. Do you think 6 or more? We do that in an hour around here. It's because we're in a room all day with a computer, and we're in here talking and having fun. We have stories that we want to share, so it's a great way to share those
We would be a
stories.
lot more productive if we would stay off of
social media.
No. During work hours.
I
We
can't
really
do that.
would. Yes, you can, and you should.
Heidi, that's part of my job because we share stories and we tell people, hey, if you want to know more, go to facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. So if it's not there when they get there, I get those calls. I've gotten emails. Hey, you were going to share that, and I still don't see it because I forgot to put it on there. So finally, 2/3 of women complain of forgetful or brain fog during menopause. Now, 2 new studies add to the growing body of research suggesting that cognitive decline and memory problems associated with menopause are real that could be linked to fluctuating levels of hormones in the brain. So there you go. If you don't remember that story later, that's why. Heidi's got something she wants to say, but I won't let her. I can tell by the look on your face. It probably has some political slant to it. So
I'm
we're
good. It's all right.
gonna just wrap things up right there. Tuesdays.
Oh, no. That person's way beyond menopause. So
Tuesdays
there's nothing to say there.
with Charlie is on the way.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for my favorite program, something we do every Tuesday just because we can. We pick up the phone and we call my father-in-law for a little thing we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie. How you doing, Charlie?
Tuesday already.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, so we must be having fun.
Like just yesterday I talked to you.
It kind of seems that way. So what kind of cool stuff we going to learn today?
Hey, back in the 1840s, that's a long time ago,
Yeah.
you know anesthesia, you know what that does?
Yeah. Knocks you out.
A lot of people criticize that because they said it was a needless luxury.
Oh, no
Oh,
kidding.
yeah. I'll have to disagree with that one.
Yeah. I think that's probably a pretty important thing if you're going under the knife.
Did you use a naughty word there, Fluff?
I don't
No.
think so.
I don't do that.
Yeah, she does.
No, never heard that.
Never heard it come out of her mouth.
No. Hey, then, you like macaroni and cheese?
Yeah, it's good
Yes,
stuff.
I love macaroni and cheese.
Did you know that Kraft macaroni and cheese is more popular in Canada than anywhere else in the world?
Really?
Huh. I wonder why that is.
I don't know, it's called the national dish of Canada.
Oh, nice.
It is so good.
It is good.
It like 29 cents a box or something like that. Or...
Yeah, it's awesome. It used to be way cheaper than that. We had a foreign exchange student from Finland that was in Storm Lake, Iowa, where I grew up, and she loved it. And every year I used to send her boxes of it because I can't get it in Finland. So I would send it to her in the mail for Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, she loved it.
Hey, then you remember who Oral Roberts was, didn't you?
Yeah.
No.
Whatever.
Okay.
Who is Oral Roberts?
He's a religious guy.
Okay.
Moving forward.
What kind? You don't know either. That's why you're trying to gloss over this.
We only have 5 minutes, Heidi. Come on. What about Oral Roberts?
Well, let's see. One time he told his viewers that if he did not receive $8 million in 3 months, God would kill him.
Are you kidding me? I don't think God was into ransom. I don't think that's the way it works.
Well, he received over $9 million in that time.
No.
He was a pretty smart feller.
No, it wasn't. That's not the way to do things.
Is he still alive?
I don't think so.
Well, God finally got him.
The last check didn't clear.
Hey, then Elvis's manager, remember old Elvis?
Yeah.
He sold I Hate Elvis badges to make money for those who otherwise wouldn't have parted with their cash for Elvis merchandise.
Heidi and I just talked about this.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah, I just read that. I said, I thought that was pretty clever.
See, once again, all my facts are true.
Absolutely true. Verified by the internet.
Everything I tell you is true.
It is.
Hey, then in 1919, General Eisenhower and the Army tried to drive across the country.
Yeah.
They barely made it, so Eisenhower built the interstate highway system when he became president.
Nice.
Oh.
It's the Eisenhower interstate system.
So that's how that came about.
Nice.
Hey, then, you know Colonel Sanders was once a successful lawyer?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really?
Yep, but his career ended when he got into a courtroom brawl with his client.
This is exactly why I couldn't be a lawyer.
Thumped him over the head with a drumstick.
You'll eat my chicken or I'll beat you. Hey, then I got one last thing here for you.
All right, what's that?
It wasn't until the 1930s that production techniques improved to the point that toilet paper could be advertised as splinter-free.
Splinter-free?
Whoa.
So before that it wasn't?
Well, apparently not.
Whoa, could
Can't
you
even-
imagine?
No, I could not.
Hey, I got a splinter here. Would you get it out for me?
Get the
No,
tweezers.
you're on your own.
You got the tweezers and a flashlight.
Yeah, you're definitely on your own.
All right, Charlie, I got a question for you here. William Moulton Marston was the guy that invented the polygraph, but he also is the creator of a superhero. Which superhero would that be?
The Shadow.
No, Wonder Woman. The one with the golden lasso that made people tell the truth. The creator of that was also the inventor of the polygraph machine. How cool is that?
Oh, that
I
is
think
pretty
we should take a polygraph.
We should. We should
I'd
take
like to ask you some questions.
That's fine. I'd go under the polygraph. I wonder how can you go about doing something like that, I wonder.
I don't know.
All right, well, I'll have to check into it. There's probably somebody listening that has one. I don't know why.
And then they're going to come here and we're going to get strapped to a polygraph.
Yeah, we better drop that idea.
All right, well, it was good talking to you, Charlie.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday then.
That
Bye,
sounds
Daddy.
perfect.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there, we talk to him every Tuesday just because we can. It's a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
John and Heidi.
This is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. When you join, you'll be giving them the set of numbers that you want them to play, and that's what they will play for you. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that's RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
At the height of inflation in Germany in the early 1920s, $1 US was equal to 4 quadrillion German marks.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd be like a quadrillionaire over there just for having a dollar. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Early models of vacuum cleaners were powered by gasoline. I can't vacuum. I'm all out of gas. I
Okay.
think that's really funny. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Where is it? Oh, here. A warthog has only 4 warts. So warthog has 4 warts, and they're all on their head.
Oh.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The first man to die during construction of the Hoover Dam was the father of the last man to die during construction of the Hoover Dam. So the first person and the last person to die during construction were father and son.
Huh.
That is absolutely crazy.
That is crazy.
And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Figs are the sweetest of all fruits. They have a 55% sugar content. The flower
Really?
of the fig is inside the fruit, so there are no blossoms on a fig tree, sort of like an inside-out strawberry is kind of what it's like. So There you go. Couple of fun facts for you on a Tuesday.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business if it's done right. You can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Got some interesting names we're going to go through right here. I've been holding this for like 3 weeks because I want to share it, but I never really had a place for it. So I finally just said, I'm doing it. So if you don't like this, I have clearly missed the boat. One of the most popular soft drinks originated in Texas is a thing called Dr. Pepper, but there's actually a physician in Austin, Texas, whose name is Dr. Pepper. And she is from that same area. I think that's kind of cool. That's the state where the drink is from, and there's a doctor there today named Dr. Pepper. There's a dentist named Dr. Smiley, and a plastic surgeon named Dr. Hacker, and there was a doctor named Dr. Goodenough. Would you like to go to Dr. Goodenough? Several years ago, the bank in Wallowa County, Oregon, 2 of their employees were Mr. Cheatham and Mr. Steele.
Oh, boy.
There's a surgeon named Dr. Cuddy. In New Zealand a while ago, the Minister of Mines was Dr. Coleman. So kind of like coal mine, but Coleman. The Philippines, there is a Cardinal Sin. It's kind of interesting. Anglican clergyman whom authorities were reluctant to promote since he would become canon if that were to happen. He was Cannonball. That's his name.
Okay.
Cannonball. Dentist in New Zealand was named Mr. Gummer. In the Salvation Army in New Zealand, there is, or maybe was, a Major. His last name was Major. Major. In Hinsdale Hospital, Hinsdale, Illinois, there are doctors on the staff, and these are all for real. An orthopedic surgeon named Dr. Orth. So his last name is Orth, and he's an orthopedic surgeon.
All right.
A family practice specialist named Dr. Butcher.
Okay.
There's an ophthalmologist.
Why are we reading these?
I just think it's really interesting.
Okay.
An ophthalmologist in Baltimore named Dr. Glasser, and a dentist named Dr. Sugar. He had T-shirts and magnets made that say, Dr. Sugar is good for your teeth. And the last one is a church pastor in Mountain View, California, and it's Pastor Church. His last name is Church, and he's a church pastor that's Pastor Church.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I went to a gym, like a fitness center, and it was called Adams Gym, and the guy that owned it was Jim Adams. I always thought that was kind of funny. Jim Adams from Adams Gym. I thought
see.
that was kind of good.
Yeah.
So was that worth waiting for?
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you don't think so.
That was just riveting radio.
Edge of your seat excitement. Well, just wait till what else we have. Going to talk about the class of 2020 coming up later in the program. And if you didn't like this, you probably won't like it. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Let's talk business. If you're in business, you need a website. Come on, it's 2016. Do you really think the internet thing is not going to catch on? Many business owners that don't have a website think it's just too expensive. Well, now it's not. You can actually build a website setup for less than $30 a month. If you need help designing it or just laying something out, we're here to help you. Get a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. You can actually build the site and see it online for free during this trial. So why not check it out at radiosavings.com.
Scientists have created a real-life thinking cap. Heidi?
Oh, my goodness.
It works by zapping electricity through your brain. I think this is a good idea. The weird-looking headwear has extraordinary results, and experts believe it could help people be more creative. Yeah, I'll bet. The device was dreamt up by the University of Sydney's Centre for the Mind in Australia, suppresses the left side of the brain to encourage more creative right side thinking. Center Director Alan Snyder says students hoping to use it to study up before exams would be disappointed. He said, you wouldn't use this to study or to help your memory. You would use this if you wanted to look at a problem in a new way. So they're saying this doesn't help you come up with better answers. It helps you be more creative. Like, I don't know, how do I get this thing off of my head?
Not be happy if a teacher put a thinking cap on my child's head and started zapping my child during the day. That would not go over well.
You need to look at things from a new perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, from the plaintiff side, I'll be on the defense side. That's what we're talking about. We're all set. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.
John and Heidi.
Apparently, we're looking for about any excuse we can find to say that being fat is not our fault, because now it's mom's fault because she had a job when I was a kid. Childhood obesity has been steadily rising over the last 30 years, and this new study from the American University in Washington, D.C. has found a child's weight may depend on how much their mommies were away at work while they were growing up. Research team studied body mass index, BMI, to find out the total number of years that a mother was employed and away from home, and it had a cumulative influence on the children's rising BMI over time. A higher than average BMI could lead to obesity in childhood. I'm calling a big old BS on this. You know why? Listen to this.
Okay, why?
If there's 4 siblings in a family and mom is gone the same amount of time for all 4 siblings, why aren't they all exactly the same weight then? BS. I don't think this is even close. Because look at my family. There's all of our siblings, and some of us are heavier, some of us are lighter.
Okay, but your mom was home.
Okay, no, she wasn't. She was working. My mother was working when I was a child. That's why I'm overweight. I'm using this study to blame her. So, Mom, it's your fault. No, it's not her fault. You know whose fault it is? Mine. I'm the one that shovels pizza in my mouth.
But I do see what they're saying. Yeah. Being a working mother, you're kind of on the offensive immediately. But
you should be.
But when nobody is home with the kids after school and they have the run of the kitchen to eat whatever they can get their hands on, I can see how that would make a difference.
I can see that too.
I totally see I can see where that study would come from. But I can definitely see it. If you're not home, making sure that, you want a snack? Okay, let's have an apple.
That only
when
goes
your kids
so far.
come home, that's not what they're going to pick out by themselves. They're going to grab the Doritos. They're going to sit in front of the TV and play their video games or watch their cartoons or whatever.
There you go. Well,
so
we'll agree to disagree because I
how can you disagree with that? That makes
I agree with that,
sense.
but I'm saying the study is saying that that's the fault. But how is it that one sibling can weigh more? Did mom spend more time with that kid? I mean, I just don't think that this is all there. Coming up, the Beloit College Mindset List for the class of 2020. This is interesting stuff. It's on the way.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Beloit College Mindset List of 2020. They do this every year where they talk about the kids that are going to be freshmen this year at our college. Here's who they are. There's always been digital swap called eBay that's always existed.
Always?
Since they've been born, it's always been there.
Okay.
Grandpa has always been able to reach for Celebrex. That's always been around. They've never heard Harry Carey try to sing during the 7th inning because he'd never done that during their lifetime. There's always been Cadillac Escalades. And it just doesn't seem to be... What?
What are we talking about here? I really have... I don't know what we're doing.
Okay, if you're a college freshman this year...
Okay.
The entire time you've been alive, there have been Cadillac Escalades. So remember when those things were new?
What does that have to do with Grandpa?
No, Grandpa has always been able to reach for Celebrex. There's always been Celebrex.
But what does that have to do with freshmen?
Okay. If you're a freshman, the West Nile has always been a virus in the U.S. West Nile. Vladimir Putin has always been calling the shots at the Kremlin. He's been in charge the entire time they've been alive.
Sure.
Sandy Hook tragedy is their Columbine. Cloning has been a mundane laboratory procedure. So it's like that's not exciting to them because they've been doing that since I've been alive. You know, for us, we're like, what the what? Elian Gonzalez, who would like to visit the U.S. again someday, has always lived back in Cuba since they've been alive. The United States has always been at war. That's the one that really is shocking to me. Their entire lifetime, if you were a college freshman, your entire lifetime, the U.S. has been at war. Euros have always been the coin of Europe. I mean, it's always been. I'm going to scroll through to the bottom of this list because we're almost out of time, and hopefully they get better because Heidi is clearly not impressed.
I'm just wondering where Grandpa fits into this story because all of a sudden out of nowhere it was college students and then Grandpa has always been like what?
Their entire lifetime, Celebrex has been around. That's what that was.
What is Celebrex?
Just get over it. Let's move on to the next thing.
I'm concerned about Grandpa.
Their entire lifetime, airline tickets have been purchased online. Their entire lifetime. Instant trayless ice cubes have always just fallen out of the refrigerator.
That, as far as I'm concerned, best invention ever.
Yeah. I think we're about done. Oh, Michael J. Fox has always spoken publicly about Parkinson's disease for kids that are freshmen this year. And war films have always shown battle scenes inspired by Saving Private Ryan. So that's a movie that's been around their entire lifetime if you're a college freshman. I'll put the whole list online. I already did.
Oh, that's going to be
because people,
major clickbait.
Major clickbait. You can go do something else. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I hope this is good news. Heidi's been calling me out on everything today. She's like, what a waste of 3 minutes that was. We'll try to wrap this up a little quicker here. iMom is launching a 30-day Pillow Talk Challenge. The organization is focused on helping and encouraging moms to say bedtime is an excellent time for moms to really connect with their children. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
In response, they've released a printable list of 30 questions you can ask your kids as they are settling into their bed for the night. Find out more on their site, and I've got a link to this, really. It's called 30-Day Pillow Talk Challenge. I've got this at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And maybe we should do this with our daughter. What do you think?
I think I can come up with things to talk to my daughter about without needing a list. I actually think that's a little sad that some people might need a list.
But you know what? Here's
I really need to talk to my kid. What should I say?
Honestly.
Come in there with note cards.
So, hang on a second here. How was your day? I got another one here. Let's see what this one says. How was school? No, they're better questions than that. But you know what? There are some people who are like, they like to be super duper prepared for things. And this is just a really good way to help them make sure they're ready to have those conversations.
There you go.
All right. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. We appreciate you joining us.